What's up guys, it's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Build It video. Today I'm going to be talking about where did my bubbles go. I know it sounds kind of weird. So a lot of people have been complaining about this. In fact, I was complaining about this myself about a month or so ago when I was in Mega. So I kind of know what you guys are going through. If you guys are having difficulty getting your Omega bubbles to pop up, your regional bubbles, things like that, I'm going to talk about that today and tell you what I think is going on. So, first off, let's talk about how those bubbles appear, okay? Before we do, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and join us on Facebook at SimCity Build It, MissyanneTTVYT. We're also on Discord and Twitter, all that stuff down below, links. Make sure you comment any video requests or questions in the comment section. Okay, so the type of bubbles that you get that pop up around your screen are going to be like opinion bubbles. Those pop up and give you rares when you pop them. Then you've got ones like this, which are actually really good sometimes because they do a decent markup on items. Now, then you have the ones that you actually need for your assignments, like your Omega bubbles. Okay, they look similar to this. They usually pop up like this, and they pop up on the drones and the control nets, okay? So, with this one, it has nothing to do with the specialization coverage that you have around the homes. When people say things like, well, I moved parks around, I moved transportation around, with the Omega, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the storage capacity of your Omega items. So, for example, if you have, let's say, 75% full of your inventory of Omega, you're probably going to get the bubbles more frequently. You don't really get the bubbles appearing at all when you fall below that 75% inventory line. Now, what'll happen is people will have a bubble here that they ignore, which is fine, because then you don't have to worry about it changing. It'll be there until you deal with it. For example, right now, I'm going to leave this one sit until I want to deal with it. And that way I know that it's there. So what'll happen is people will use their Omega items, let's say doing house upgrades, right? And then they'll look back to this bubble that has been there all along, and they'll assume that they had, let's say 10 items in their inventory and they got a bubble. It's not how it worked. The bubble was there originally, right? So what happens when you're having a hard time getting the bubble to appear? The best thing that you can do, there's a couple of things you can do for not only the Omega bubble, but the regional as well. Now, the regional one is kind of a little bit more of a pain in the butt, and we'll talk about that one in just a second. But one thing that you guys can do is log in and out of your Facebook save or your Google Play Store or Apple ID or whatever it is that you save with. You can also force stop the game. Don't just close the game. Actually force stop it. Completely shut it down, restart the phone, that kind of thing. Another thing is putting parks and stuff around the other one, the regional. Not Omega, but the regional. Also, increasing or decreasing your inventory. Like, let's say you increase your Omega items, or let's say you use an Omega item. Something like that. Another thing is try bulldozing an Omega home if you want to, or upgrading one, something like that. Move the control net around, move the drones around, because that's where those are going to be popping up at. Try, like I said, opening up some more canisters. Just try to initiate it that way when it comes to Omega. If you're still having trouble, it's just going to be a waiting period, but just keep trying that. Maybe try going to a city and coming back. Travel to a regional map and come back. That usually helps. Now with regionals, this one was a major pain in the butt. So maybe about a month and a half ago, I was working on an assignment for, I believe it was the Frosty coins. And all I had was one regional item. And that was not one in quantity, but one type. All I had was the fish plates. But I had a lot of them. And normally that's enough to initiate the bubble to pop up. But for whatever reason, it just wasn't initiating it. So as I was collecting some fish to try to fill up my regional shop to make some stuff, all of a sudden I got a bubble to appear, but of course it wasn't for the fish plates, it was for the fish. And it offered me 1 regional coin. So I'm like, really? Make sure that you do not have any of the, if you're like waiting a super long time and you're getting super frustrated, try not to have any of the small regional, the factory regional items, because those ones seem to pop up more frequently. But what you can do is try to have a variety of other regional items and see if that helps get those bubbles to appear more often. Everybody's been complaining about this recently, and it never used to be this much of a complaint. So I'm starting to wonder if it's something that the game has changed. What you may want to do before you start a regional assignment, what I would do is wait for the bubble to pop up for one of the higher quantity items and then leave it sit until you're ready to do that assignment. Don't start the assignment unless you have a bubble on your screen that you can actually collect on. It doesn't really make sense to start the assignment if you can't pay it out. Maybe initiating the assignment causes it to slow down. I don't actually have any proof of that, but what I'm saying is that let's say that you're getting ready to start an Omega or Omega or regional currency task, and you have the regional stuff. You don't have to initiate the task until you're ready to actually collect on the coins, right? So if you get one for a low amount of coins, don't collect on that one. Just click no and wait until you get one for a higher amount, then start the assignment and sell the higher amount of your items. And that way, it's definitely you get the higher amount first. I think they're doing this because they want people to spend money on the piggy banks. They want people to open up their HQs. They want people to spend money, and that's just their ploy to get people to spend money. The best thing that you can do, like I said, is to close down the game, restart everything, change your inventory around, make sure that you click off any bubbles that are worth a low amount. Don't just accept low bubbles because you haven't had one in a while. Regional is one thing, but with Omega, don't do that because those Omega items are really expensive. Hopefully that helps you guys. Other than that, I don't really know what to tell you. All I can say is that everybody struggles with it. Just try to have as many items in your inventory as you can, even if you have to borrow them from somebody and then give them back. You may not actually need 40, fish plates, but borrowing them may initiate the game to kind of spit it out at you. All right? So good luck to you guys. Hopefully that helps, and I will see you guys next time.